The shoulders of Mylan. She was, I shouldn't say was, she is still with us. But a lot of the things that we have been able to accomplish on equality, and when I walked into the chamber just now, I thought about the day that we were going to ratify the ERA in here, and I walked through the door, and the gallery was full of people, and they were like, yeah, there she is, yeah. And I was like, I'm so embarrassed, because the only thing I did was just step on the people's shoulders who came in front of me and just kept moving. And were it not for your mom and people like her, we would not be where we are right now. And even the pay equity bill that we got passed last time, and this time around, you all know that the state equal rights amendment is on the ballot, and make sure people vote for it because that's like the next step. But it's people who just started the fight for equality and just never gave up, and that gave me an opportunity when I got here to keep the fight going. So this right here, I'm honored to be able to do this, and honored to know your mom, and just a giant in the state of Nevada. Matter of fact, we talked about her in the Women's Democratic Club meeting Thursday. What day is this? Friday? Yesterday? Anyway, I think it was yesterday. We had the Women's Dem and it was, we did a moment of silence, and I like to do that because so often the people who paved the way, the pioneers who paved the way, if we don't keep their name going, then the people who benefit from the struggle take it for granted. And I think it's important that we not take their fight for granted. I think it's important that we acknowledge the struggles that they had, being ostracized, people calling them crazy, and and all sorts of things, but they just kept moving. And like I said, it made a path big enough for folks like me to walk through it. And were it not for their sacrifices, I wouldn't have been able to do what I've done. So I thank you. Thank you. So with that, let me read this proclamation, and I wanted to do it. All the lights on, or is it just my glasses?
No, they're all on.
They're all on? Okay, it's just my glasses.
No, it's a little dark.
So let me read the proclamation, and we were really trying to get this done before she left us. So we weren't able to do that, but
she's here.
Yeah. So, whereas, reflected in her lifetime achievements, the late Mylan Hawkins worked tirelessly to reshape the world into a place that is more equitable and inclusive for everyone. And whereas she was born in Chicago, Illinois, where her love of the arts guided her to attend the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, but her desire to help others quickly redirected her focus. And whereas it was hoped it was a hotbed, Chicago was a hotbed for ward bosses, politics, wow. I read that and I'm like, man, she survived that? Yeah, she's pretty tough. Nevada didn't know she was coming. They probably knew her name, but they didn't know she was coming, okay? And whereas she extended her efforts to improve health outcomes for all people along the East Coast when she began working with the former Surgeon General C. Everett Koop to raise funds for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and in New York, raise funds for the Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. And whereas although she loved fine arts, luxurious travel, great wine, and gourmet cooking, and I thought about what was she eating a couple of days before she passed? She was eating
Caviar and
champagne and caviar. Yeah, I was like, yeah, so like her, right? Right. In 1976, I start all over again. She moved to Reno, Nevada, where she made an immediate impact in the state through her work with the National Organization for Women and co-founding her husband, Prince Ashton Hawkins, the Diabetic Educational Center. And she was part of what we got done last time when we were moving the legislation forward to make sure that we were having a database for diabetics, and making sure that we linked diabetes to kidney disease, and making sure that everything, all the research, everything. So she will be felt in Nevada for years to come. And although she loved fine arts, luxurious travel, great wine, and gourmet cooking, political activism, whether staffer or campaign manager, was her core drive. She fought for the Equal Rights Amendment in Nevada, and it was her biggest struggle in keeping the status quo on Roe v. Wade and leading a campaign for choice and seeing ballot question 7 on the 1990 general election. That, you know, and I'm sure during that time she had no idea how important that would be now. And Nevada is one of those, it's a beacon for a lot of the other states where people are just like, you know, like what just happened. So it's just, it's another example of how she was so forward thinking and so ahead of her time. I mean, just wow. Most recently, Mylan helped organize the Reno Women's March in 2017. I remember that. We were crying and oh my God, what just happened? One of the largest protests in Reno history with an estimated attendance of 10,000 marchers. I didn't know it was, I thought it was more than that. Wow, okay. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that all Nevadans are encouraged to join in commemorating and celebrating Mylan Hawkins for a lifetime of advocating to improve the lives of many while working in the nonprofit sector and with her relentless activism and memorializing her heavenly journey that began on August 26th, the nationally recognized Women's Equality Day. And be it further proclaimed, the heartfelt condolences are extended to her beloved sons and their wives, treasured granddaughters, and the many friends and colleagues who will long remember her accomplishments as one of the most loving and caring activists in Nevada. Dated this 9th day of September, under my hand, Patricia Pat Spearman, Chief Majority Whip, Nevada State Senate.
Oh,
So
isn't that amazing?
thank you.
Yay.
Take a picture of those two together.
You got the flag?
Okay,
Got the
I'll
flag?
jump in here too.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be representing the Hawkins.
Okay.